In this video, we will show you how you can apply for extension of your visitor visa while staying in Canada. Let's start our application. You will first go on the Canadian government official website. Type in the URL bar as cic.gc.ca, then I will select English. Then on the next page I will go on menu. I will select Immigration and Citizenship. Next, I will select Visit. On the next page, I will select Stay in Canada Longer. Next page here you can see the fees as $100 per applicant. And the online processing time is 185 days. Now we will select how to apply. Then we will scroll down and select Create an account or sign in. On the next page it will show you the options. If you do not have an account you can select Register. Or if you need more help you can select How to sign in or apply online. Since I have already an account with the GC key, so I will select that. On the next page it will ask me for my username and password, which I will enter. Then click Sign in. On the next page, it shows different information that, when you have last signed into your account, how you can change your password and things like that. I will select Continue. On the next page, you can see two different sections. The above section says, View the applications you have submitted. Here those applications will be shown that you have already submitted. In the second section, it says, Continue an application you haven't submitted. Here that application will be shown on which you are already working. Like if you already have an application under process, it will be shown here. And you can select Continue Application. There will be an option here to continue that application and then you can continue that. Since we do not have already an application, we will go to Apply to come to Canada. The first option is for personal reference code. Since we do not have a reference code, we will select Determine your eligibility and apply online. We will select the option Visitor Visa, Study and/or Work Permit. On the next page, it will ask me different questions. Let's answer them. First question is, what would you like to do in Canada? I will say visit. The next question is, how long are you planning to stay in Canada? I will say temporary, less than 6 months. If you want to stay more than 6 months, you can say that. The next question is select the code that matches the one on your passport. I will select PAK. What is your current country or territory of residence? If you are presently in Canada, you should select Canada. I will select Canada since I am already in Canada. Then the question is, do you have a family member who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident that is 18 years older? I will say, yes. Then I will give my date of birth here. Then select Next. Have you lived in Canada as a permanent resident or landed immigrant? Answer, no. Next. What is your current immigration status in Canada? I will say visitor. There are a couple of other options. If any one of them applies to you, then you can select that. Select Next. How are you related to your family member? I will select parent-grandparent. Click Next. What is your marital status? Married. What is your province of destination? If visiting multiple provinces, select the one in which you will be spending most of your time. I will say, Alberta. Click Next. Based on your information, it says that you may be eligible to extend your stay in Canada as a visitor tourist. I will select Continue. Here, it is giving some basic information that you are not supposed to submit multiple applications and things like that. Click Continue. Since I will be accompanying a family member who has already a visitor status in Canada, So in answer to this question I will say, yes. Click Next. When does your status in Canada expire? Give the exact date here that applies to you. Since IRCC already have all the information related to you, I will select the exact date on which the visitor visa is about to expire. Do not give false information here. Click Next. Have you had a medical exam performed by an IRCC authorized panel? I will select no. If you guys have a medical exam, you can select otherwise. Click Next. On the next page, it's asking me about any sort of job that I will be doing. I will select no. Click Next. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? I will say yes. Click Next. Question is, if you are submitting applications for more than one family member, please start with your spouse or common law partner. Click Next. Now I will be starting with my partner's information. What country does your family member live in, since we are currently in Canada? So I will select Canada. The reason for selecting Canada is that since we are currently living in Canada. If you select this question mark, at the end of the question, a pop-up comes and it says, this is the country where your family member is living in right now provided that they have been lawfully admitted to that country. Using this question mark here, which you can select and find out information regarding each and every question here. Which country issued your family member's passport to travel document? I will say, PAK. Click Next. Is your family member a permanent resident of the United States? Was an alien registration? I will say no. Click Next here. I will give the family member's current marital status. Married. What is your family member's date of birth? I will select the date of birth that my family member has as per his/her passport and national identity document. Where will your family member be staying in Canada? I will select Alberta. Click Next. What is your family member's current immigration status in Canada? I will select Visitor. Click Next. What does your family member wants to do in Canada? I will select Apply to remain in Canada as a visitor. Click Next. Does your family member want to restore their status in Canada? I would say no since we already have a visitor status here and our status has not been expired yet, so we will select no. Click Next. Has your family member had a medical exam? I will say no. Click Next. Is your family member staying in Canada for more than 6 months and has lived in one or more designated countries or territories for more than 6 months in the last year? Your family member's stay starts on the day they entered Canada and ends on the day they want to leave Canada. I will select no. Click Next. In the past 10 years, has your family member given any fingerprints photo biometrics for an application to come to Canada? I will select yes. Because whenever you apply to visit to Canada, you have to give the biometrics for that. Click Next. There are fees associated with your family member's application. Will you be paying your family member's fee, or is your family member fee exempt? I will select yes, I will be paying my family member's application fee. Click Next. Do you want to submit an application for another family member? I will say no since I have only one family member along with me. Then click Next. Are you giving someone access to your application? I will say no since I am not appointing anybody. Click Next. In the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints and photo biometrics? I will say yes. Click Next. There are fees associated with this application. Will you be paying your fees, or are you fee exempt? I will select I will be paying my application fees. Click Next. Are you able to make a digital copy of your document with a scanner or camera? Select yes. Click Next. Will you be paying your application fees online? You can use a credit card. Select yes. Click Next. Now it is showing me all the answers to the questions that I have provided, so that I can review them. Once I have reviewed all the answers and I'm satisfied with my answers, I will select Continue. On the next page, it is giving me some basic steps. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 and Step 4. This is the last step in which you have to pay your fees. You can read through all the details that are provided on this page if you want to have more detailed information. Click Continue. On the next page, it says your document checklist. This is a page which shows all the documents that are required. The main applications, the supporting documents, my family members' documents that will be required. Since I have said that I'll be submitting one of my family members' application along with mine. So the main application is this one application, to change conditions, extend my stay or remain in Canada as a visitor or a temporary resident. I am M5708. We will make a separate video for that. Then there is passport requirement, use of a family member representative for online applications. Since I will be applying for my family members, so this document is very important for that. And then there is proof of funds, marriage license certificate, digital photo, family member proof of status. You can see all the details on this page. There is client information option. If I select the question mark, it says, if you would like to provide more information about your application. This is a sort of cover letter that mostly people provide if they want to give more information to the IRCC. Then there are the documents required for my partner, who is coming with me or who is already with me. Then it shows the fee, and once you will submit all the required documents on this page. Then there will be an option here, which will say continue, and then you will pay your fee of $200 Canadian, and then you can submit your application. We hope that this video is informative for you and you can submit your visa extension application to IRCC all by yourself. An important key point is, if you want to extend your stay in Canada as a visitor, stay in Canada longer, you need to apply for a visitor record. A visitor record is not a visa. What is a visitor record? It is a document that gives you status as a visitor in Canada and allows you to stay longer. It includes a new expiry date. That's the new date that you must leave Canada by. When to apply for a visitor record? You must apply for a visitor record before your current status expires. It is better to apply 30 days before your expiry date. Important point. Leaving and returning to Canada. A visitor record is a document that continues to give you status as a visitor in Canada and allows you to stay longer. It doesn't guarantee that you can leave and then re-enter Canada. If you plan to travel outside Canada or the United States, you need a valid entry document, such as a visitor visa or ETA, to return to Canada.